Hey guys, what's going on? Hey, it's been a while since I've been on YouTube, I gotta admit. And quite frankly, I need to take a break, man. I need to take a little bit of a hiatus because shit got crazy on YouTube, in the manosphere, red pill community, and all that sort of. So I kind of had to step back and recalibrate a little bit and just kind of figure out where I stand, right? Because I don't want to be associated with a lot of those guys that are throwing out red pill content and that sort of thing. Because it's getting dramatic, and it's a whole lot of bullshit out there. You know what I mean? And I was red pilled a long time ago. Over 10 years ago, and the older I get, man, the more I see things the way they are, man. It's just amazing to me how different I see life now at my age, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about a little bit today. Is you know it's toxic out there, and I want you guys to really, there's a lot of great information. There's a lot of great information. There's a lot of people out there talking really good stuff. I still think Rich Cooper is still really good. Corey Wayne. Rolo gets a little long winded. You know what I mean? He talks, but he's all right. But some of these other cats, man, I just can't really deal with. Because to me, they're a whole lot of fluff, a whole lot of bullshit. Guys that are rehabilitated, if you will, and they're trying to go on this you know tour of making themselves look a little bit better, and a rehabilitation tour or whatever. And I'm not buying it. You know what I mean? I'm not buying it. The one thing that I can bring to the table here at YouTube, and the one thing that I can promise you guys, is that I was the red pill. All the red pill did for me was just see the direction that I already knew in my heart that I wanted to go was the right direction. Like nobody, like I always knew that I didn't want to be in a relationship, because I saw my friends. They get taken. They're just like, they're involuntary muscles that just fucking give it up to the woman. Happy wife, happy life, and they're all talking this bullshit. And every time I argue with them or I say something, they argue with me, and they're like, "Oh, Rich, you don't know. You're a misogynist. You don't know anything about that shit." And I'm just like, dude, you guys are the ones that don't fucking know. And that's what. And I was always listening to these guys because I thought something was wrong with me. And so I'm listening to them. I'm like, well, they're married. They got something going on. But the one thing that I noticed is that they weren't happily married. That's the difference, right? They were not fucking happily married. And like I was at church today, man, and this dude, I'm always paying attention, right? So this dude walks in with his wife. First of all, his wife walking in front of him, which, I mean, to some extent, yeah, they should, right? But he just looked fucking beat down, dude. Just like he got like a scolding in the fucking car. It's like Friday, man. That guy's gonna cry in the car, man. I'm telling you right now. That's what he looks like to me, right? And guys at work that I work with, man, they are just, dude. I think they work a shit ton of hours just to get away from their wives. That's the only thing I can come up with. Because you got guys over there working till 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, and they got there at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, dude, why don't you go fucking home and pay attention to your family or something? I don't get that, man. I don't get that, because I'm trying to get the fuck out of there as quickly as I can. I do my work. I do it to I give 110%, but I'm trying to get the fuck out of there. And I don't want any part of that. And I've seen this over the years. Being who I was always that guy that never really never really bought into that bullshit. And I always thought, well, maybe maybe I'm doing something wrong, you know? Like in my 20s, for instance, right? I wanted to get an apartment with, you know, like 3 or 4 guys, just move in and just have a blast. I didn't do that till I was in my 30s, man. And that was after relationships and all that shit. And after a buddy of mine went through a relationship, got divorced a couple of times, and was like, fuck it, dude. I need a roommate. So I just moved in, right? And I was saving for retirement, doing that kind of shit, right? So I was like, fuck it. Let's have some fun. And this was in my late 20s, early 30s that I did that, right? And it was a blast. But that's really what I should have been doing in my 20s. You know, I always try to talk my buddies into, dude, let's get a fucking house together, man. Let's just hang out, you know? And none of them wanted to fucking do it. They all got girlfriends right away. Like Rich Cooper says, man, the first guy that touched their peepees, man, that was it, bro. They were gone. And I was playing the field, man. You know, I'm still playing the field. I don't like, dude, I see no reason to get married, right? So I've always been that guy. The only problem was that everybody else, I was like the last of the Mohicans, right? And everybody else was over there getting married. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? So I felt a tremendous amount of pressure to get married. And I never really wanted to. I remember I was at my buddy's weddings, and you know, every time they threw the gardener, I had to go out there. You know what I mean? I was that guy. But then when the gardener came, I was always like that, my hands in my pockets and shit, right? They'd be like, oh, there goes fucking Rich again. You know what I mean? And after a while, my friends started getting mad at me. You know what I mean? Like, dude, when the fuck are you going to settle down? When the fuck are you going to get married? And this and that. And I'd say, why? And be like you, bro? I'm not going to fucking do that. No way. You know, it just didn't make sense to me. You know, it didn't make sense to me. And, you know, my buddies have been breaking my balls since I was 28 years old. You know, I mean, we're talking 22 fucking years ago, right? For 22 years ago, they were breaking my balls. Now, you know what they say? They're like, dude, you are a fucking genius for not getting married. You know what, man? I saw the writing on the wall a long time ago. You know what I mean? And God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you should listen twice as much as you speak, right? So I was always paying attention to people's heartaches, to people's issues and stuff like that. I mean, these guys got taken for everything when they went through divorce. You know, I didn't have to, you know, Rich Cooper tells you to go to family court, go figure, you know, go watch these guys and see what they go through. I didn't have to, man. I saw all my friends go through it. So I was like, fuck that, dude. And I saw there was absolutely no benefit to getting married. Just none. So why am I going to do it? It just never 100% made sense to me, you know? So that's a big reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm happy. I got a great life. I don't need anything. I got all the toys. I mean, I can afford whatever the fuck I want. I got a beautiful home that I just remodeled. You can see it in the background. I got my little gym here. You know, I got exactly what I needed, right? And I got, you know, I never had kids. And I decided, as you guys know who watch my other videos, man, I decided not to have kids. That was a tough decision, right? Because I always wanted kids. But there's no benefit, especially at my age. What am I going to be, 70 when they graduate from high school? You know, people are going to be like, who's your dad? Who's your grandpa? You know what I mean? I'm not, no, dude, that's just not me. So the red pill, to summarize, right? The red pill just basically showed me, it basically confirmed to me what I already knew. I mean, I already knew that I didn't really want to get married. I had no ambitions to get married. You know what I mean? I had ambitions to make money and to do well in life, right? And I've done that. I mean, I make more than enough money. I don't have to worry about anything. The only thing is I'm trying to switch to passive income, right? To where I have to do very little work and constantly make money, you know? So, I got high status in my job. You know what I mean? I'm an electrical, it's called an electrical cross product team engineer or lead. And I'm in charge of electronics for a multitude of areas, and, it's right below a chief engineer. Those of you who are in electrical engineering or engineering in general, I'm on my way to become a chief. That's my path. So, you know, I've always focused in on, and I've always made the right decisions from my career standpoint. I jumped ship when I had to jump ship. I moved and I made more money. And that's how I got my money up, man. You got to kind of jump around a little bit, in the industries, right? Not just engineering, but everywhere else. You kind of have to jump around because that's how you get the big jumps, right? And I did what I needed to do as far as a career path. But when it comes to, you know, when it comes to, relationships and stuff, I let too many people get in my ear and too many people tell me what I was doing was wrong. I had a lot of friends, they're acquaintances now, right? Because ever since I got red pilled, you know, red pill is like Fight Club, man. You don't talk about it. You just don't talk about it. Guys will come and, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, kind of thing, right? And that's how I fell into it. I fell into it because of my last two relationships. And I was just like, dude, what the fuck, man? I knew I was the common denominator. I knew it, and I took full responsibility. And then I dove into the red pill, and it really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And, but I'm a big proponent of how the red pill started, right? It's improving yourself, being your own your own center, your own point of origin. You know what I mean? Fix your life, become the best person that you can be, right? And me personally, I consider myself, I feel like I've maxed out in a lot of areas, right? I'm really in the best shape that I've probably ever been in. I got my money up. I make a really good living. I'm almost a chief engineer. I'm at the pinnacle. I really am. And the only thing that I feel that I can improve is really sticking to my guns, because I have a tendency kind of to deviate back to my old school ways in some of that. And that's what happened with this last relationship, man. I was just like, dude, I couldn't get my wheels spinning again, and I didn't feel right. And that's why I took a little bit of a hiatus from YouTube, was because I didn't feel right giving you guys, advice when I wasn't following through. You know what I mean? And so I needed to take a little bit of a break. I needed to figure stuff out. And there was kind of an epiphany that happened just recently that really was like, dude, what the fuck, man? You know what I mean? And it just got me to the point where I just don't give a fuck anymore. I'm numb. I'm completely 100% numb. I'm numb to relationships. I'm numb to friendships. The only people that I care about is my dog, Einstein. He's my son. My mom, she's always been, she's always been someone that's been in my corner. And, just, and my mom's dog, his name's Foos. And, I don't really need anybody else. I really don't. I'm an only child, so I can sit here and stare at this fucking wall and have a conversation by myself, a probably better conversation with my dog, better than I could talk to anybody else, because he just sits and listens to me and loves me unconditionally. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things, guys, that, you I needed to become my own center, right? My own point of origin again. And I was a little bit shaky, with my friends, with relationships wise and that sort of thing. It just, yeah, I didn't want to not give a fuck. You know what I mean? I didn't want to. But you know what? It's freeing. It really is, man. When you don't give a fuck about things, right? When you barely have any fucks to give, it's hard to give a fuck. And there was an incident with a friend, right, that I've known for 30 years that came up, and I'll talk about it in my next video. That came up that I was just like, dude, I can't. Nah, dude. I'm not. Nah, dude. And it's like, because I'm a nice guy. You know what I mean? I'm a really good person, right? I mean, I'm a legitimately solid person. I believe that if you put goodness out into the world, it'll come back to you, right? So I tried to do my best to put goodness out in the world. But, I was just beat down with everything that was going on, relationships, the way the world was, and I sat with it for a little while and I just said, you know what? And I went through this one time early on in my career. I sat there, man. I sat at my desk and I laid back and I was just like, God damn, is this the way my next 20, 30 years is going to look? Fuck this, right? So that's kind of the epiphany that I had after this friend incident happened. I was just like, dude, I sat back and I was just like, nah, bro. Nah. I'm not doing it anymore. This is bullshit. So it was one of those things that I needed. It was a big epiphany for me. And I'm sober now, man. I'm sober, right? I'm fucking sober. Because every time, I would go through these stints where I was like in my center. I was kind of an asshole. You know what I mean? I just didn't give a fuck about anything, whatever, because I had gotten out of relationships or whatever. And I just really didn't give a fuck about anything. And those were the most freeing times of my life. But I was kind of an asshole. You know what I mean? And I was an asshole to relationships, to friends, to whatever, you know what I mean? Because I just didn't give a fuck, you know what I mean? It's not like I really wanted to be. So do I really want to be like that? No, not really, right? Nobody wants to be like that. I would hope that you don't want to be like that, right? But you got to find that balance. And that's kind of what I did. I was just like, you know what? I got to go back to that. But let me see if I can find some balance in it, and that's really hard to articulate because there's times like this morning I was standing in line at Circle K and this dude was taking his fucking sweet time, man. And I was on my way to church. Right. And I was like, I turned to this guy in back of me and we started laughing because the guy was just the whole hum, whatever. And I was like, oh my God, man, it is a fucking Sunday, right? And I said it loud, right? So that this motherfucker would hurry up. And, I wasn't trying to be an asshole, but I'm like, dude, there's other fucking people around you. You know what I mean? Dude, just hurry up. If you want to talk to this person, let us check out. We got places to go, and you can get back to business. You know what I mean? It's like nobody's cognizant. Everybody's like, like a freshman in fucking high school. I don't get it, but whatever. You know what I mean? But it's stuff like that. Like when somebody steps in front of you in a fucking line, you got to say something about it. You know what I mean? Don't keep quiet. And I was in that position, I would say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where I would just speak my fucking mind. Because, I know how to fight. I know how to kick somebody's ass. Because, I've been in Krav Maga and I'm really good at grappling. So, I'm not afraid. I'm definitely not afraid to do any of that shit. But that's last resort. I don't want to do that. But it at least gives you that confidence. But I just didn't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? But you know what? I'm going to be that fucking guy. Because because being the nice guy is just not really getting me anywhere. It really isn't. So that's the thing, guys. You know, I'm coming at you because I wanted to let you guys know what I've been going through a little bit and what I've been faced with. And I just didn't feel right putting out videos. I mean, I put out videos back, early, Q4 of last year, and I was feeling good at the time, right? But I went through like the holidays and all that were just tough. You know what I mean? They were tough. And then, I did a lot of thinking, and then this thing with my friend happened, and I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm just fucking done. So, sometimes life is like that, man. It kicks you in the ass, and you just got to wake up and be like, yeah, this is not going to work. I'm not going to do this anymore, So that's exactly what happened to me, guys. And, I'm feeling 1,000% better. I started eating right at the beginning of the year and, shredding. I'm shredding right now for the summer. And, I feel fucking fantastic, man. I'm happy as fuck and doing good. I'm getting back out there and starting to date again because that's just a fucking shit show. And life is good, man. Life is really good, guys. Sorry, I thought there was somebody outside, but life is really fucking good, man. And I just wanted to get back on and kind of let you know how, I divvy up, I know I talked about this in another video, right? Where I talked about the red pill and, how bad it's gotten and that sort of thing. But, I consider myself red pilled, but I don't consider myself part of that community anymore. I don't feel comfortable with it. I do see the world from a different lens now. But it's within reason. I'm not going to go out here spewing all this bullshit about, I don't know. I don't even know what Andrew Tate talks about. I really don't. I've listened to him a couple of times, but it's just like, dude, he's just over there like, just angry, dude. And I'm not fucking angry. You know what I mean? Life is not something to be angry. He seems more black pill to me. What I've listened to him about, you know what I mean? And he's all about money and status and that sort of thing. And, I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. I am who I am. If you like me, great. If you don't, kiss my ass, dude. You know what I mean? And bury me upside down so the world can kiss my ass. I don't give a fuck. I just am who I am. I go through life, and yeah, that's just me, man. You know what I mean? So, hey, I'm glad to be back. I feel better, and I feel like I can give the advice that I really want to give now with the true heart, right? I mean, it's all this shit that I say, everything that I say comes from the heart. And I want you guys to understand, I'm a good guy. I'm not trying to come out here and pontificate or anything like that. I'm just giving you real shit. You know what I mean? My life, I'm not going to have kids, so I have nobody to pass it on to. So you guys are who I'm passing it on to, and I hope people get something out of this. I really do, So if you get something out of this, please press the like, subscribe, and I'm planning on putting out more content because this is something I really enjoy, man. But I needed to get right, man. I needed to become my own point of origin and get back to where I feel comfortable giving advice because I have a lot to give. I really do. And I want you guys to make the right decisions. Like I said, I've always made the right decisions as far as my career goes. But, I've been challenged in the relationship and friendship area, hire slow, fire fast, man, and pay attention to those red flags. All right. We'll talk to you later, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.